women. And the thing that I always come back to is sometimes it seems it can be so hard for women to admit they need help, to actually say, I'm struggling, I'm hurting, help me, because women are often the ones doing the helping. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's also difficult for women to not know when or how to recognize if other women do need that help.
It's sort of a tricky little fine line to walk there. And Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend joins us now with tips on how you can let down the walls, empower and uplift the mothers in your lives. I think women are so, as Brooke said, are so wonderful about reaching out and helping other people and have that great support group, more so than men, I think, often.
It's interesting. We always kind of say that men won't reach out for help, but women, there's this side of women that they don't want to, what is it? They don't want to look like they don't have it all together. They're maybe putting up a facade that we're good, we're fine.
Well, so many people count on them, whether it's husbands or kids or
they
neighbors.
Can't let it come down.
They feel like they can't take a break.
So we're going to actually give you 4 ideas today of how women can go and make sure that they're creating opportunities to help other women. But they're not like, you know, hey, go down to the local clinic and help take blood. It's more stuff that you can just do in your life. And there's little keys, okay? If we open up some of these keys, we're going to open up the hearts of the people around us. I loved in that clip, you notice what she said? She had to be open and raw and honest. So all 4 of these keys are designed to help women be open and raw,
so kind of creating
and
a
honest
comfort zone, so to speak.
Make a safe space, okay? So the first key, the first rule is fairly simple, right? You got to inoculate this plague of perfectionism. There's probably no other group of human beings on earth that are more able to help than women. However, they have this plague that probably they're hit by more daily, this idea that this concept that you can be perfect. And I think it makes us not be open. It makes us not want to show that we have our flaws and our problems and our attitudes. So I think
if you ask for help, that's showing that you're not perfect. That's showing some chink in your armor.
Yeah, I can't do everything with my family. I can't get everything done and look good and stay skinny. So we got to blow that myth up. And I think part of the myth of perfectionism is women pushing it on each other. Women pushing on. I sat here once in our studio, and a woman sat there and looked at one of the sets, and they were talking about how you can do these great knick-knack, whatever. And I don't know what you call them. Projects. But she's like, oh, I love your segments because I never feel guilty after your segments, Matt. I feel guilty because I can never do what they're doing. And I'm like, well, it's because I have a very low standard.
The bar is low there.
The problem is people think that they have to have everything. You have to have little leafy balls on your centerpiece. You have to have all of this stuff. But the reality is we've got to blow up the myth. It doesn't exist. Perfectionism is not going to happen in our realm. Now, if we hit perfection, it's bowling. Okay, we can have a moment of time where we are actually perfect. But the problem is most of the places we want to be perfect, honestly, it's too dynamic of a reality. What you should say one morning to your kid is probably not the thing you should say the next morning. It's too dynamic to create a sense of perfection.
So in terms of getting other women to let down that idea of perfectionism, don't you think sometimes it starts with you yourself admitting your lack of perfection? You know, when I say to someone, oh, I screwed up at this, this, or I did this wrong, that almost opens that channel.
That's exactly right. And those learning circles, I'll guarantee you, they're not talking about perfection, they're talking about learning. So the way to inoculate perfection is to inject the idea that we're here to learn. We're not here to be perfect this morning. You're not here to be a perfect parent today. You're here to learn how to be a better parent day in, day out. Learning is the way. So push learning, not perfection. Blow it up. Start blowing it up. I dare you to go somewhere without makeup.
Well, sometimes it takes something bold like that to say, I'm not going to be perfect.
I'm not doing it.
Here's the news. I'm not going to strive for it anymore. I'm doing
I don't even wear makeup anymore. Unless we're going out.
We love you anyway. In fact, we love you more.
Another one is, ladies, tune into the present. You're so busy. You're so stressed, you're so overwhelmed, you're so overbooked that we probably miss opportunities to help other people because we just aren't present. We see that they're in pain. You might even feel prompted. How many times out there have you felt prompted to go help someone, had prompted to buy someone donuts or whatever and take donuts over, but you just didn't because you had to run 2 carpools and you didn't do it? So I believe, honestly, again, ladies, this is your forte. I think you were born to nurture. I think you're born to be powerful and insightful healers. And if we don't have time for it, we're in trouble. So we've got to find a way to be present. Follow the prompting. When you have a prompting, get that done. That's the only thing that matters.
What do? You got the 2 carpools. You got all those things that you're weighing in the back of your mind, and you're saying, sorry, kids, you're going to be late to school because I got to stop and get donuts?
Well, the irony might be, but the problem is we're still into perfection. So when we're so into perfection, then we're no longer present.
Right.
Because we're now present in perfection. What if our process was, I'm going to feel the prompting, And it doesn't have to be either or. I can drop the kids off and go get donuts before I come home and shower.
But it's kind of that stop, I always say stop, drop, and roll, because I keep thank you notes, boxes of thank you notes in every single room of my house.
Do you really?
And I do, because if that prompting comes, oh, I need to thank someone, a thank you note means so much to me that I will stop what I'm doing in my kitchen, stop making dinner, and write a note.
Well, that's interesting, because I've never received one. And I seem to have done a lot for you.
You will tomorrow.
Anywho, the next one is to be a creator, not a critic. The last thing any woman on earth needs right now is a critic. You're doing as much as you can. You're being as strong as you can. When I say creator, criticism saps our energy. It creates negative self-esteem. It creates negative sense of self. So what if you took your role and say, my job is I can't make everyone happy, but I can be a positive force in people's lives. I can be a creative force of creative energy, of positivity. I'm going to, if anything, I can't solve everyone's problem, but I'm not going to be their critic. And when I hear everyone bad-mouthing them, talking negative, stuff like that, I'm not going to play a part of it. I'm going to then point out something that's really positive. Now, that takes energy. That's why I call it being a creator. What if you were taking the role of creatively, actively choosing positivity? That's what it's about. There's way too much negativity. In my classes with my clients, I have them rank their marriage 1 to 10. And almost universally, women rank their marriage 2 points lower than the man does.
Really?
Always. So, what that says, ladies, that's just messed up. Now, part of it is because they have higher expectations, they have stronger needs, and I think you've learned to be more critical. And it's so funny because it's not who you are.
That's interesting.
You're creators, for crying out loud. You're trying to raise children.
They're critical in a good way because they want to be able to analyze what's wrong so they can fix it. Because they're
watch.
all about fixing and nurturing
and back to the irony of perfectionism.
Sure.
And so all of a sudden now we're trying to force perfectionism, and that's why the criticism seems like a very positive thing.
Sure.
But it sucks the energy out of us. Okay? Last but not least, lead with your heart. Simple, true. A lot of us try to lead with our heads. You try to help people's problems. This is a very male issue. You might say, oh, I'm so tired. And we're like, take a break. Pull your head out. Hey, brilliant idea, Matt. The reality is lead with your heart. You don't want to talk about a break. You just really want to share your heart. So ladies I think you're uniquely wired for this too. I think you have more neurons attached to the heart center of your brain, the bonding, the caring. So lead with the heart. When you feel your heart say, she needs a hug, give her a hug. She needs some attention, give her attention. You could tell those women in the circle were leading from their heart. They care. Your heart was probably touched when you saw the video.
It's doing what women do best, not worrying about the rest of the stuff.
Get out of the way.
Great.